Okay, copied OK. And I'm going to close this. If we go back up here to the low, you'll notice right here in the min and the max, those results are right here. Okay. The 3D viewer, this is where you can edit the cage. So this is where you can edit the cage if you did a cage. Okay. I wouldn't, we're not going to do anything with this. Again, if you want to explore these options, you can. Settings here, you can choose some presets here from models from 20 years ago. You can do that. Here's the plugin manager. This is where you can change a bunch of different other options, like how it triangulates. Again, a ton of different options, things we probably don't need to worry about since we triangulated prior to bringing it in. And so it looks like we're good. So now I'm going to hit Generate Maps and see how it looks. If so, the first thing that popped up really quick was the normal map, and this is the occlusion map. And so here it is rendering options here. Once this is done, you can change if you don't want it to notify tile updates, etc. But I don't mind watching it. I'll tell you how long it took. It took, what, 30 seconds, 35 seconds to render. Then just hit close. So now I have one map done. Yep. To do the next map, you can leave these here and just check them on visible. I like to remove them, so I just right-click remove, and then I go high definition again, add mesh. I add the high mesh again, so open high, bottom, add mesh, add the low, and I'm going to scrub over, use batch protection, use everything the same. Baking option, you can notice it keeps the name the same, so I'm going to want to change this, or it's going to try to save over it. It'll give you a warning, so you just click here, change the name to bottom. Okay, keep everything the same. Fine detail, run the ray trace calculator, right? Then save the results, generate the maps. Okay, I'm not going to do that again since it's going to take a little bit of time and I want to apply them. So I already have my maps. So I'm just going to go ahead and I can change the location of these things now. It doesn't matter. So I'll just open this up a little bit. And I want to apply these textures that I made. So I'm not going to combine these textures because that requires combining them. I'm just going to do two textures. So I'm going to go rendering, and with the lid selected, I'm going to click right here on this Lambert, and I'm going to apply a new Lambert, and I'm going to call this lid M for material. And I'm going to put my occlusion map here in the color slot, so I'm going to click here, and I'm going to say add a file, click the folder, and I'm just going to add my lid occlusion. I'm going to hit OK, open, nothing shows up. Oh my gosh, what happened? We need to enable textures to show. So once I enable the textures, that'll show up. In here, we need to break the connection on the transparency. It added. It looks like I should actually add the lid that I baked here since I changed its since I changed the actual UV on it. So then, where did I put those? Exports, occlusion. So there we go, that lines up because I tried adding the texture from the first section. Now you can see that on the lid, see those hinges have been burned into the top there? That's probably an indication I should have extracted them and baked them separately. So you can see that that's burned through. They should have been baked separately. Okay, so now where's that normal map go? The normal map goes under bump map. Click the box, hit File. As soon as you hit the File, you get to an in-between menu. And the thing is here, you want to use this bump as a tangent space normal. A bump map is only grayscale. Tangent space normal is what we did. That's what you want. And then you want to hit the value box right here, which will take you to the file. And here we're going to add our lid normal. There we go. Still, you really don't see all that much. You won't see that normal map pop until you hit your high definition preview. Then you'll start to see the normal information. Okay? So let's do the same thing on the bottom. Let's click the bottom. And I'm just going to, I don't need this grid anymore, so I'm just going to name this bottom M. Click this arrow, and I'm going to replace this with the correct map.
That's 1A.
Bottom, yeah, I didn't bake out that one, so hopefully it's close. I didn't bake it out again, excuse me. Again, transparency, break connection. Looks like we're fine. Okay. Bump map, checker box, hit file, use as. Bump maps are grayscale. We need a tangent space normal. And then we need to set the value. See how this isn't a checker box here? That means something exists beyond here. Right? We have something linked. It's a file.
Oh, that's a good way.
Bottom normal. Okay? So it looks like we're all good now, right? Now if we go and we do this with the high quality, you can start to see some decent information, but it really doesn't pop as much as you'd expect it to, right? So what do you think the problem is?
Don't have the mesh.
The what?
The keyboard mesh.
The mesh? I mean, this doesn't look too bad for something that's completely flat, right?
We need system attributes.
But it can be even better. The thing is keep in mind that a normal map is manipulating how light is taken to it. But here I have a Lambert, right? I picked a Lambert. A Lambert is a flat material or a flat shader. It doesn't have lighting information. So how is it going to really pop the lighting or the normals if it's a flat shader? So let's change that to something that has a highlight like a blend, and all of a sudden it will pop. We'll start to get some lighting information. So let's change those to a blend or a fong or something like that. So now, all of a sudden, this is, again, completely flat. If you go completely to the side, it will start to lose how convincing it is because you're on the side. But anything that's not like that, it's probably going to look almost just like that high poly model. If you want to really test it out, go to create a light and throw in a directional light, something like this. A directional light's like the sun, and rotate it down. Turn on your high definition, enable, sometimes this happens, and it does, this is annoying. So it looks like it's not going to cooperate this time. But, no, it's just this one is not wanting to show up.
Oh yeah.
But if you have a lot of times when you have high definition, it will in the viewport. Sometimes with the lighting, it will show up black when it really shouldn't.
Just render it.
Yeah, I can render it and it will be fine. So with this, so here we have the light faced here. So we would expect these sides of the keys to be a little bit lighter, and there to be shadows over here, right? So let me just go ahead and render that. It looks like mental ray is not enabled. So if mental ray is not enabled, plug in, come in here, and enable Maya, mental ray, and now we should get some mental ray. So let me just render out, let's just do a HD 720. Let's render out, that's Maya software, which looks like crap. Let's go to mental ray, and render out something that's going to look pretty decent.
Still crappy, but better.
No, that's not too bad.
So here it looks like it's a little bit glossy, so those are probably on our materials. On our reflectivity, let's turn those down here. And let's just position this a little bit better. Let's go 1080. And let's go to production quality. Let's see what we get.
Oh, I'm gonna have. Oh.
So, doesn't look too bad. If we go and we change this light, let's change it to something like this, the opposite direction. And I'm just going to go ahead and save that photo and render out a new one. And we should notice that the normal map is controlling the light. So here's the highlights facing this way, the shadows are this way. If we go to the other one, we can see that it's actually reading the lighting information correctly based on the normal map. Okay? So, what needs to be done? The low poly model is what you turn in with hinges. Without hinges, I'm at 226 tries. I have the battery pack and some pumps if you add some more. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to have your low poly model under 350 triangles. If you have over 350 triangles, it tells me it's not modeled effectively. Okay, so check it. It should be under 350. If you wanted to add some extra details in here, like those feet or something like that, to see how much that's actually adding that's different. But aside from that, this part here should be about 350. It should be UV'd correctly. Soft and hard edges need to be designated correctly. The normal and the AO maps need to be done, obviously, correctly and applied correctly. Okay? Any questions?
What does?
So you said that the hinges should be made separately.
Yeah, these top ones for sure.
So we would have like 3.
Yeah, 3, exactly. Yeah, because if you don't, I mean, see how that burns in right there? I don't want that.
What about the ones at the bottom?
Let's see how that is. Like I thought, we did get a little bit of burns right there. I don't think that's too bad. I think that's fine.
How do we bake the hinges separately?
Just like you did the top and the bottom. It had to be a separate object. Right?
Okay.
So essentially you're going through the process 3 times.
Would you just do one hinge individually and just do one?
Yeah. So if you want to, like the hinges down there or hinges up top, you could only bake one hinge and then dupe it, and then they would share UV space. But you only can do one. If you bake them at the same time within the same UV space, it's in a double bake, which is going to lead to garbage. You don't want to do that. So if you have any duplicated or instanced objects, they need to be baked just one. Yes,
So how would you achieve an effect like parallax mapping?
the parallel